Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome back to Christmas in Arkham 2023. We've been playing so many games during Advent of the Phoenix this month that I'd almost forgotten about Christmas in Arkham, but of course, we can't leave the campaign unfinished, even if we've already mathematically lost the campaign after having to tap out on Arkham Horror 2nd Edition last week with the writing on the wall. This week we're playing Elder Sign from Fantasy Flight. In this game, we've chased, well, the Ancient Ones kind of chased us into the Miskatonic Museum, the way the campaign's going, and we're basically rolling dice to complete the adventures. This game's been called Cthulhu Yahtzee in the past, and it's not hard to see the comparison to it, but I'm getting slightly rambly on that. It'll probably make more sense when we get into the game itself, but first up we need to meet the Elder Sign version of Hastur. Hastur hasn't put up quite as impressive a body count as Nyarlathotep did during the Summer of Lovecraft last year, but his body count is still plenty to make sure he wins Christmas in Arkham this year. Anyway, taking a look at Hastur's version in Elder Sign, as you can see, we need 11 Doom to wake him up, or 13 Elder Signs to seal him away. Doom's 3, 6, 7, 9, and 10 wake monsters up. His attack task is X Research, Lore, and Apparel, where X, when he awakens, is equal on the battle task is equal to the number of monsters in play. So we need to keep that under control if we think we're going to try to take on Hastur in the final battle. But he modifies the game by the King in Yellow. Each time an investigator successfully resolves an Otherworld card, add 1 Doom token to the Doom track. So ideally, when the Otherworlds start coming out, we want to be biting the Elder Signs off on that in about 2 to 3 Elder Sign chunks on those Otherworld cards. Because yes, we'll probably need to do those to get the Elder Signs we need to beat Hastur, but we want to bite those off in big enough chunks that the Doom isn't really going to hurt us too much. Anyway, that's everything for Hastur. Now let's go through the entrance. If we pass a turn at the entrance without doing anything, then we have a few things that we can do for free here. So we could receive First Aid to either heal a Sanity or a Stamina for free, or pay 2 trophies to fully regain either, or pay 4 trophies to regain both. We could also search the Lost and Found to roll a green die and consult the chart. On any research, we lose either a Sanity or a Stamina. Lore gains as a clue token. Peril gains, so that's actually the tentacle task on Hastur is actually a terror, not a peril. A peril gains as a common item, a terror gains as a spell. Or we can buy a souvenir. 1 trophy gets as a clue token, 2 gets as a common item, 3 a unique item, 4 a spell, 5 an ally, and 10 gets as an Elder Sign. So that's everything at the entrance. Now we need to go meet the Elder Sign versions of our investigators. As usual, when we have investigators that are also in the card game, we'll be using the card game mini cards to move around rather than trying to find the chits in the craft tray, or we could use the standees from 2nd edition, but I like the mini cards from the card game because they're colored on the side when they haven't gone yet, and black and white when they have. So they also serve as handy activation markers. But as you've guessed, our first investigator will be Mandy Thompson, the researcher. Normally starts off with 5 health and 5 sanity, but because of the rules in Christmas in Arkham, she starts down. We're starting down 1 and 1 on each because of our loss to Hastur in Arkham 2nd Edition. Her special ability is Research. Once per day after any player has rolled, Mandy may reroll 2 dice before determining if the active player was able to complete a task. She starts with a clue and a common item. The clue you can use to reroll any number of dice once. And then for a common item, it will start off, Mandy will start off with a dog sled. Discard before any investigator rolls to give him or her the yellow die. So the yellow die is an extra die we'll be using to resolve our adventures. That's it for Mandy. Now let's go meet our next investigator. The down 1 and 1 rule for Christmas in Arkham definitely hurts investigators that have a 7-3 split. It's not too bad it's actually very manageable for the 5-5 and not too terrible for the 6-4. But the 7-3 investigators are the ones who are hurt by that, like our second investigator, Jacqueline Fine the Psychic. 7 health and 3 stamina. Once again, starting down 1 and 1 because of the Christmas in Arkham rules. There's her mini card. We'll move her over to the entrance. Jacqueline's special ability is Precognition. Once per day, when a Mythos card is drawn, Jacqueline may spend 1 clue token to discard that Mythos card without effect and draw a new one. The second Mythos card then takes effect. She starts off with a unique item and a spell. First for her unique item she finds Flute of the Outer Gods. After rolling, discard to defeat 1 monster. Then for her spell she finds Bless. Discard to choose 1 investigator to become blessed. We may need to use that if we're trying to bite off a big chunk of Elder Signs, but that will do it for Jacqueline. Now let's go meet our third investigator. Like Jacqueline, Mark Harrigan the Soldier is also a 7-3. His 7-3 is in the other direction, though. 7 stamina, 3 sanity. There's his mini card. We'll move him over to the adventure as well. Mark's special ability is One-Man Army. Mark may always complete tasks in any order, even when an arrow is present. What the arrow does is turns everything on the adventure into an ordered task. We have to complete everything in order. So if you have, say, a 6 research, then a peril and a terror, if you lose dice, you have to complete those in order. So the problem there, is if you take a few dice to get through the 6 research, then you have less dice for the terror and peril at task on the adventures. That's where you need to be careful with those, and where Mark's ability can come in handy. As for his items, he starts off with 2 commons. First up, the brass knuckles to give him the yellow die, and a suitcase of cash, which is a trophy value of 3. So we may need to keep an eye on that and try to accumulate Mark some trophies in a hurry. But that's it for Mark. Let's move over and meet our last investigator. Vincent Lee, the Doctor, was a replacement investigator for, I believe, poor Jim Culver, who was also a replacement himself for our original 4th investigator. He starts off with 5 and 5, once again down 1 and 1 because of Christmas in Arkham. There's his mini card. We'll move that over to the entrance as well. His special ability is about to become very important, most likely for Jacqueline, Physician. Once per day at the start of any player's turn, Vincent may cause any one investigator of his choice, including himself, to regain 1 stamina. He starts off with a common item and a spell. So for his common item, Vincent starts with a flamethrower to give plus either the yellow or the red die. And for his spell, Lure Monster, which lets him secure a die. And he can't change it because I know there's an investigator, it's actually Agnes, who when she secures to a spell, she can change it to anything she wants, which makes it very easy to get the dice we need. But that's it for our investigators. Now let's move over to the main adventure area. I was trying to reduce the glare on this adventure card, and I think I got it pretty well. So let's go through our starting adventures. First up we have Mysterious Puzzle Box. I'll go through the flavor text when we clear it, but on entry, 2 monsters appear. We need a lure to complete it. Reward gets us an Elder Sign and a monster. Failure gets us loses us a sanity and 2 health. Not one where we want to send to Jacqueline, and hopefully we can find a couple places that we can put monsters. Next up, the Archives for 1 trophy. The Mysterious Puzzle Box is a trophy value of 2, by the way. We've got a lore where we could put a monster, then a lore and 3 research, then a lore and a peril. Succeeding gets us 2 unique items, failing loses a sanity. Next up, Vermin in the Pipes. 3 research, then 3 research, then 3 research and a peril for 2 trophies. Succeeding gets a clue and 2 common items. Failing loses a health. Next up, we have Balancing Mind and Body. Trophy value of 2. Terror will roll 1 sanity. So if we roll the terror, so what that means is if we roll the terror and we can't clear anything, we have to lose a sanity before discarding. Any terror effects happen before you discard. So if you get a terror effect that says discard all terror dice, and then you fail the adventure, then you fail to clear anything, you have a bunch of terror, you then discard the terror, then discard a die, which can cause you to just fail the adventure out. Clearing that gets you a common item and a spell. Failing loses you a health. Next up, Unnatural Habitat for trophy value of 1. Terror loses stamina, with a space to put a monster, thankfully. 2 peril and 3 research. Clearing it gets you a spell. Failing loses you a health. And Dreaming of a Stranger. Trophy value of 2. Lose 1 health and 1 sanity. 2 lore, then 2 lore and a peril. Finally a terror. Clearing it gets you a common item, a unique item, an otherworld adventure, and an ally. Failing puts a doom on the track. Now this is the arrow that Mark is referring to, that Mark's special ability is referring to. This turns this into an ordered task, which means Jacqueline, Mandy, and Vincent would have to clear this in order. Mark would not. He could clear it in any order that he wants. And we may actually send him in that direction. Yeah, we may have to send him in that direction. But that's it for these starting adventures. I think we're all set up. So, actually, we need our first Mythos card. Our first Mythos card says, the stars align. Add 1 Doom token to the Doom track. Oh, that's gross. So we already have 1 of 11 Doom on Hastur's track. Amid the stillness, there is no lingering effect today. Well, that's something, I suppose. But we're all set for that, so now we can get into our first turn, and Mandy will be our first investigator at midnight. The problem for Mandy right now is that our adventures aren't that great to start the game with, and the wrong sequencing here could just cause us a lot of problems to where we're not going to be able to defeat come within a million years of defeating Hastur. But we do have 2 monster places that we can put. Hopefully we'll have to gamble that we're not drawing too bad of monsters. So I think Mandy's going to move down to Mysterious Puzzle Box. We'll have to just bite the bullet and put out 2 monsters right off the bat, but we'll have to see if we can keep those clear. But let's zoom down to Mandy and see what we can do with the Mysterious Puzzle Box. We have the Dice Tower in shot because we're going to need that, but before we get to that, we do need to draw 2 monsters out. And we've got 2 places we can put them, the Archives and the Unnatural Habitat. So, let's see what monsters we pull out, and we can put them out in any order. Oh, this is a problem. A Nofke. You have to lose 1 health, but it locks the green die, which is a big problem. Well, trophy value of 1. We'll go through the flavor text when we get that. I think I'm going to put that on... where do I want this? I think I want this on... do I want to put that on an Unnatural Habitat? I think I'm going to put it on the Archives, because that'll reduce the amount of dice that I need to clear it, but it'll also reduce the amount of dice I have available, which is a trade-off. So this next monster has to go to Unnatural Habitat. We have a cultist that takes a peril or a lore, and believe me, there's much worse monsters I could have put on the Unnatural Habitat. So now, one thing to note about the entrance effect is in the unlikely event that Mandy gets stuck here, before she goes to start the adventure, actually I'm going to leave one of these out. Before she would start the adventure again, she would have to resolve the entry effect again before starting on it. But the way you're going to resolve adventures is you're going to take your dice pool, which is normally 6 green dice at the default of the game, but because we have 1 green die locked, that means we only have 5 green dice to work with. Plus any extra dice that any of your effects or items give you. You'll roll these, and then you're trying to match the tasks on your monster card. You can only complete 1 per turn, no matter how many you're able to complete based on your dice pool. In this case, all we need is the one lore from Mandy's task. So let's see what happens here. Hey, look at that. We got the lore. So that completes that, which gives us our first elder sign of 11 that we need. Actually, 13 that we need to seal Hastur away. So we'll put that up there. We'll bring the dice tower out of shot. Mandy gets the mysterious puzzle box at a trophy value of 2. And we'll take a look at the flavor text. I had been warned against opening it, but that only made its allure stronger. It's kind of like Pandora's box in that regard. But that's a trophy value of 2 on Mandy, or for Mandy. Next we need a replacement adventure. We get Rite of Passage. Trophy value of 2. This is bad. Another ordered task. Need a peril and lose 1 sanity. Lore lose 1 health. 3 research and a terror. Clearing it gets you a common item, a spell, a clue, and an elder sign. Failing it advances doom by 1 and loses you 2 health. That will move up to Mandy. The clock phase will go 3 o'clock, and then we'll move back up top to look at the board for Jacqueline. At the start of Jacqueline's turn, old Sawbones Vincent's going to do his thing and stitch Jacqueline back up to full health. Mainly because we need to get the green die free for some of these coming adventures, which means I'm going to bring her down to the archives. We never drew a monster for the mysterious puzzle box, so let's do that now. It likely won't affect where we're sending Jacqueline, but let's see what we find here. Oh, jeez. I believe that's a Chthonian, right? Yes, that's a Chthonian with a trophy value of 2. 7 research, advance time by 3 hours, and lose a health. I'm going to put that on balancing mind and body. We definitely need to clear that pronto, and I want to send somebody with decent sanity in there to clear that off. But that's probably going to be a next turn project because we need the green die free too much. So let's move. So we're going to stick with Jacqueline moving to the archives, and let's move down to Jacqueline. I just realized I could use Jacqueline's Flute of the Outer Gods to defeat that Chthonian, and that is extremely tempting. But let's see what we get here, which would also take it off the board without advancing time. Okay, there's the lore and the 3 research. We'll definitely start with that. And then remember, Mandy can reroll 2 dice. I need to remember that. Which Mandy's going to do now. She's going to use her researcher. Actually, is she? Yes, she is. I want to see if I can get the skull out of there. Which I cannot, which is unfortunate. So I'll discard the 2 research. I'll focus the lore on Jacqueline, and then I will use the Flute of the Outer Gods to defeat the Chthonian. So that will move over to Jacqueline at the end of her turn. She's got the lore focused. She'll actually defeat the Nofke for 1 health, so I don't have to discard a die. But that will make sure the green die gets freed, and I'll have 1 more shot at trying to clear the clear the adventure out. Fortunately, Jacqueline's got high enough sanity to not have to worry about that. I could also give her the yellow die if I think I need it, but we're not going to worry about that right now. We'll discard that. And... nope, I'm just going to fail that out. She's got enough sanity to fail that. But she will at least get the yellow die free, and we've got 2 monster trophies to go through. Then off K is a trophy value of 1. Monstrous servants of icebound gods, they hounded us throughout our journey. As for the Chthonian, the floor bursts open, revealing a colossal mass of tentacles. For failing the adventure, Jacqueline will lose a sanity, but more worryingly, she's stuck there. So I'll grab the sanity if I can ever get a single... oh, there we go. If I can ever get a single out of there, and I could. Anyway, since Jacqueline's stuck there, that'll bring us into her clock phase. 6 o'clock, bringing us back up top to Mark. Both of our ordered tasks right now are very dangerous for anybody except Mark to clear. So I think I'm going to bring him down to dreaming of a stranger. Mostly so I can start trying to get an otherworld adventure into play, so I can start biting off bigger elder sign chunks. With that, let's move down to Mark. I am going to junk out Mark's brass knucks to give him the yellow die, because I'm thinking we're going to need that for this adventure. I said give him the yellow die, Phoenix, not drop a green. And remember, because of Mark's special ability, he can ignore the arrow and complete tasks in any order. So let's see what we can do with this. Well, we'll take the lore. This dice have does this yellow have a terror on it? No, so I'll use that for the peril. And we have 4 shots to roll 1 terror. Actually, we technically have 5, because I can pay the 1 health and 1 sanity anytime. I'll take the terror, and then I do have to roll for formality's sake, but Mark will pay the 1 health and 1 sanity, which will bring him down to 1 sanity left. But he will complete that adventure. So that'll give him a trophy value of 2. Which will bring him up to a total of 5, I believe. Yep, because he's got the suitcase of cash. So let's take a look at Dreaming of a Stranger. In my dreams, I saw a stranger who begged for my help, but I could do nothing. I fear it was more than just a fantasy. Is that... yeah, that's a PH on fantasy, but I'm not going to worry about that right now, because Mark gets a common item he will draw. A lucky cigarette case to give him the yellow die once again. He gets a unique item, so Mark will also find. Holy water, discard to choose 1 investigator to become blessed. And then an ally he will find. Actually, is that... yes, that's an ally. So Mark will find... Eric Weiss. Once per day, you may discard 2 trophies and place 1 sanity on this card to ignore a die lock during your resolution phase. Discard this card when there are 3 tokens on it. Okay, that seems pretty useful. We also need an Otherworld adventure card, so our first Otherworld card is the Abyss. Oh boy. Trophy value of 2. Need of Terror and a Peril, then 2 Lore and a Peril. Clearing it gets you 2 Elder Signs, a spell, and a unique item. Failing loses you 2 sanity and a health. That'll bring back Mark up to the entrance, and we need to replace an adventure for that. We will find Gala in the Great Hall, which locks the yellow die. Trophy value of 2. 2 research, a lore, and a peril. 3 research, lose a sanity. Clearing it gets you 2 clues, a spell, and an elder sign. Failing advances doom by 1. So we need the yellow die to go here, because it's locked. Dice Tower can come out of shot for now. And then clock phase will bring us 9 o'clock, and back up top to Vincent. We're not winning this game if we get our dice locked on us willy-nilly, and I think we're going to need a lot of dice to bite these Otherworld adventures out. So, I think I'm going to bring Vincent down to the Gala in the Great Hall with the plan of trying to get that yellow die clear right away. So, let's move down and see what we can do about resolving this adventure. Vincent's going to use the flamethrower to get him the red die, which the red die is slightly different from the yellow that we used earlier. The main thing about the red die is it's got this wild face, if we can ever get it to focus on that. It's got this wild face that we can use for anything we want. Fortunately, this is not an ordered task, so we can complete it in any order. Well, I can take the 3 lore and Vincent lose a sanity, even though I'd rather have had the one that takes at least 3 dice first. But beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. So Vincent will lose a sanity from that. Now we need to go back to work because we need the 2... Actually, you know what I could do? I could use Lore Monster to lock the peril if I wanted to, and I think I do. I think I will lock that. Or, well, I'll secure it. Well, I think I use lock and secure interchangeably. Focus is different because you only focus when you fail a roll. So I need the 2 research and the lore. And I've got several good ways to get it. Like rolling it naturally, that works too. I could also keep that skull locked if I want to keep it there because I've got quite a few tasks that will need it, and I think I will keep it locked. So that's there. The yellow die is free of its lock. Vincent gets 2 clues, which he can use to re-roll. We get our second elder sign of 13 that we need. And the spell. So Vincent will draw. Summon Guardian Spirit. Discard when any investigator fails an adventure. The investigator does not suffer any of that adventure card's penalties. Okay, Vincent gets that as a trophy value of 2. Let's take a look at the flavor text. None of the conspicuously wealthy guests should have showed any concern as I screamed about the doom that we were all about to face. Okay, so that moves over to Vincent with a trophy value of 2. He'll move up to the entrance. And our replacement adventure will be... I'm just moving my discard pile around. Under construction, for 1 trophy value of 1. Terror loses stamina. Peril and then 2 lore. Clearing it gets you a clue and a common item. Failing advances doom by 1 and loses you a sanity. We can bring the dice tower out of shot here. Then the clock phase will bring us to midnight and bring us back up top for the mythos phase. We need a card from the deck of doom. We find The Way Closes. We can either discard an Otherworld card of the player's choice, or Darkness Descends. The 3 monsters appear. Yowza, we lose our only Otherworld card, or we get 3 monsters. I think we're going to discard the Abyss. That's a hard adventure number 1. Number 2, we would be putting Doom up on Hastur's track if we clear it, and that's a pretty tough adventure anyway. And number 3, I don't want 3 monsters coming out right now. That was pretty terrible, but actually was a pretty bad Mythos card. But we can flip all of our investigators back over. Then the end of the Mythos phase will bring us back to Mandy for a new round. And I think Mandy will... we've got that skull in our pocket. Do I want to cash it in right away? Want to? No, but I'm probably going to have to. Question is, where do I want to cash it in? I could just go over to Rite of Passage, because right now that's our only Elder Sign, and I think that's where I'll go. So we can use that pocket skull right away, but let's move down to Mandy and see what she can do with this adventure. We'll bring the dice tower in shot and smother Jacqueline here for the time being. Let's get a roll. We'll probably be... I'm planning on using the skull that Vincent's got locked on Lure Monster. That way, this is just a free roll. Which, yeah, I will cash in Lure Monster here, so that's gone. Which means that's completed. Mandy will lose a sanity once I finish getting the spell discarded. Yep, sanity. Wanted to make sure I lost the right thing. Then Mandy needs a lore and lose a health. Yuck. We're going to spend the clue to reroll. Not a single lore in 5 dice. There we go. There's a lore. And now we need 3 research and a terror. She also needs to lose a health, which I will see to that before I start her second roll. But I've got to remember that I've got research available to me if I need it, and I think I probably will. Which I will use. I'm still trying to get that terror. I'm going to get that 3 research out of there so it doesn't get knocked. Nope, so I'll discard a lore and focus the 3 research on Mandy. Now I've got 2 shots to get a terror out of this. 3 if I want to use the dog sled. Which I'll discard that. Discard that, and I will use the dog sled to give her the yellow die. Oh, wait. This one doesn't have a terror on it. So I wasted it. I'm not going to go back and retcon that, but Mandy will fail the adventure. Actually, yeah, pretend that roll didn't happen. I forgot that the yellow die doesn't have a terror on it, so I wouldn't have used that if I'd remembered. So Mandy will fail the adventure, which will put another doom on Hastur's track and cost her 2 health. That's a bigger problem. She's probably going to need to go heal next turn. So yeah, Mandy's stuck there. And we'll put the second doom up on Hastur's track. The clock phase will bring us to 3 o'clock, and we'll move back up top to Jacqueline. We are not in a good situation. I probably could have used Guardian Spirit to protect Mandy, but since I already retconned her yellow die, I'm not going to retcon that far as well. As for Jacqueline, I could leave her on the archives, but I don't like her odds of rolling there with no items whatsoever. So, I really need to get her clues, though. That's what I need right now. Our only clue is on Vermin in the Pipes, which I think we'll just have to bite the bullet on that one. So Jacqueline is going to move over to Vermin in the Pipes. Actually, there's Under Construction too, but I don't want to be facing a terror effect that's going to drain her of her stamina every time she rolls and fails. And that's a pretty tough adventure because we need 3 specific faces anyway. So let's move down to Jacqueline and see what she can do with Vermin in the Pipes. We're at 2 Doom and 2 Elder Signs. Not the greatest place in the world to be in. But Jacqueline is going to go ahead and give this a roll and we'll see what happens. Alright, there's one of our 3 research. We need 2 more instances of 3, and one of them has to be accompanied by a peril. Ugh, that hurts. But I'm going to have to take it. So there's my 3 and a peril. Now I've got 2 shots to get 3 research. You've got to be kidding me. And 1 short. Delightful. Jacqueline will lose a health. She's going to have to... Unless I have Vincent... Well, now we've got 2 investigators that Vincent could conceivably patch up. Jacqueline is not doing much this game so far. Clock phase will bring us to 6 o'clock. But I think we're going to blow through Mark's turn. He's going to stay up at the entrance and discard Dreaming of a Stranger to heal to full sanity. Because I'm going to probably need to send him down to help Mandy with Rite of Passage next turn. As for Vincent, Sawbones I think is going to heal... Sawbones I think is going to heal Mandy for 1... No, he's going to heal Jacqueline for 1. And then what is Vincent doing? Actually, first, let's move back up top Let's move back up top here and see what Vincent wants to do. Is there anything he wants to do right now? I think he's going to move over and help Mandy with Rite of Passage. We'll see if Vincent has any better luck with that. Plus, he's got 2 clues, and Mandy... Now that I'm remembering that the yellow die doesn't have a terror on it, I can probably use that to give him the yellow die to help with that adventure. So, let's move down to Vincent. Mandy's going to chuck the dog sled to give Vincent the yellow die, now that I'm remembering how the die works. But we need a peril and lose a sanity first. That'll work nice and easily. Vincent will lose a sanity. Researcher is not available to us because Mandy used that. Actually, I'm going to trade those 3 singles in for a 3 on Vincent's sanity. Right, then we need a lure and lose a health. Remember, this is an ordered task and Vincent can't ignore the arrows, whereas Mark can. Alright, there's our... I'll use that for a lore, and Vincent will lose a health. Now he needs 3 research and a terror, which we technically do have here, but we can't use that because we have to make a fresh roll. And Vincent's got clues he can put into this, if we need them. So actually I blew through the clock phase. It should be 9 o'clock right now. There's our 3 research and a terror. Vincent manages to roll it naturally. So we'll get the dice tower out of the way. He will get a common item, so Vincent will find research materials. After rolling, discard to change 1 die to its highest investigation result. He'll find a spell as well. He will find Cloud Memory. Discard to fully restore any investigator's sanity. That could be useful. Another clue. And our 3rd Elder Sign on Hastur. And Vincent gets the trophy value of 2, but we get the flavor text first. Marcus flipped over. I'll start moving everybody up to the entrance. It'll be midnight. We'll be moving back up top for the Mythos phase, but we've got a couple orders of business. First of which is the flavor text here. Many of us never discover who we are until reforged by the crucible of adversity. Too true in life as well. Our replacement adventure. The Elder Sign. Research trophy value of 2. Research 1 lore and lose a sanity, 1 lore lose a health, 2 research and a lore. Clearing it gets you 2 clues, advance doom by 1 and an Elder Sign. Failing loses you a sanity. But in the clock phase, bringing the clock into shot, midnight will bring us back up top for the Mythos phase. Flipping over another card from the deck of Doom we find Alone. Return, oh boy. Either return the ally deck to the game box, no further allies can be gained this game, or out of time. Resolve all midnight effects again and draw a new Mythos card. We don't have any midnight effects right now, so I think we'll just draw a new Mythos card rather than return the ally deck to the box. So here we'll find Time Slips Away. Jeez! Add 1 Doom token to the Doom track, which will put a monster out. Then resolve all midnight effects again and draw a new Mythos card. So we put a Doom token on Hastur's track, which will draw us a monster, and it can go over top of the archive. So let's see what we get here. That seems pretty manageable. What is that? That's a rat thing. A 1 research. But that's deceptive because we saw text on the back. And we need a new Mythos card, but at least it's amid the stillness. There's no lingering effect today from that card. This one may still give us something. A warning. There is no immediate effect today of a conspiracy. All tasks that require at least 1 investigation result require an additional investigation result. Oh, good grief. Well, that's making me wonder if this might not be a good turn to just heal up a bit. And that's kind of what I'm thinking at this point. So, that will bring us to a new round. And that'll bring us in to Mandy. Mandy, at the very least, is going to take the thought I was having and rest. She's going to discard her 2 trophies on Mysterious Puzzle Box to heal her health up to full. Because I don't like her being 1 away from just being dead. That will flip Mandy over. 3 o'clock to Jacqueline. Now, what is Jacqueline doing? She's definitely not staying at Vermin in the Pipes, not with each investigation needing 1 more. So that's 3 4s, and the last 4 has to be accompanied by a peril. She isn't clearing that in a million years. So I think with that in mind, I think Jacqueline, looking at the board, is she going to just move back and heal as well? Actually, before she does that, she's going to discard her Bless spell to choose Mark to become Blessed, because he's going to need it most likely. We'll take a look at how Bless works. Add the white die to your dice pool at the start of each adventure. Discard this card if you fail an adventure, become cursed, or when the Ancient One awakens. So Mark's now blessed because I'm planning on sending him after the Elder Sign this turn. As for what she's actually doing, I don't know if there's anything I want her to do right now, because most of these take a lot of investigation, so I think she's actually just going to move up to the entrance as well and heal a stamina. That's how her turn's going to pass. And then her clock phase will bring us to 6 o'clock to Mark. Mark will come down to the Elder Sign. We'll see if we can clear that. So let's move down to Mark and see what he's doing. Mark gets the white die, which is functionally just an extra green die toward his adventure. If I think I need it later, I can also give him the yellow die. But I need to keep in mind that this 2 at the bottom of the Elder Sign adventure is actually a 3. Because of our Mythos, because of our 3rd Mythos card. Good grief. Can't believe we drew 3 this time. Okay, I'll take the... Actually, I think I'll take the 3 and the lore. I like my odds of being able to roll 2 more and 2 rolls on 5 dice. So that's out of the way right away. Lore to lose a sanity. And we'll see what happens with his last roll. Lore to lose a health. Easy as you please. We'll bring the dice tower out of shop. I'll trade the 3 singles in for a 3 health for Mark. Ironically, the one I just discarded to heal Mandy up. Mark will get 2 clues. Hastur will go up to 4 doom. But we'll go up to 4 Elder Signs because we get 1 more and we have 3 right now. Hey, look at that. First grade math is a thing. But we also get the flavor text on the Elder Sign. Once it decides it wants to focus, we do. Let me zoom that out. Maybe I'll have better luck if I zoom it out. There we go. It was already here, crafted properly. All it needed was my body and soul and sacrifice. So that moves over to Mark as another trophy value, bringing him back up to 5. And then we need another adventure we find. Something is broken free. On a terror, you immediately fail this adventure. Yikes. Peril, which needs a monster there, to terror. Clearing it gets you a monster, a clue, a spell, and a unique item. Failing costs you a health. That'll move Mark back up. And midnight will bring us to Vincent. Looking at Vincent, I think he's just going to heal his... I think he's just going to discard one of his 2 trophies to heal his sanity to full. Then clock phase. Will bring us up to midnight, and that will bring us back up top for the Mythos phase. Guys, if we can have a little less of the draw 3 Mythos cards in one round, that would be great. Okay, thanks. Let's see what we get here, though. The stars align. Add 1 Doom token to the Doom track, which brings Hastur up to 5. I will deal with that before we look at the lingering effect. To bring forth horrors. The next time the clock strikes midnight, a monster appears. Oh, lovely. So we're getting another monster at midnight. Joy, joy. The question is, do I try to go clear something that's broken free before that turns into a problem? Because that terror effect is going to get nasty if we have to put a monster there. I think I'd better go try to clear it now. Because the terror, being you immediately fail this adventure, is going to cause us a lot of problems. The only question is, who do I send to clear it? I think I probably have to plan on sending Mark, but that's it for the Mythos phase. a new action round. Where's Mandy going? She doesn't have anywhere good she can go right now. She's completely empty of trophies and of... She's completely empty of everything right now. She has no trophies, no items. Basically, she's got bubkas. So she's probably not much help unless we ever just search the lost and found. I mean, it's not great, but it could give us something. Yeah, at this point, she's probably not contributing much to the team unless it's via her research for everybody else. So let's have her search the lost and found. We'll bring the dice tower in shot right there. Okay, she gains a common item, so that's something. Let's see what Mandy finds for a common item. Mandy will find winter gear. Gain the yellow die even if it's locked. So that'll let her ignore a lock. 3 o'clock to Jacqueline, who's got trophy value, who's got trophies, but I think she's going to run the same plan back that Mandy did and just search the lost and found. Hopefully, Jacqueline can also find something of use. Never mind, she'll lose a sanity. It was worth a shot anyway. Clock phase will bring her to 6 o'clock, and it'll bring us to Mark, who's going to come down to something is broken free. Like I said, so I can clear that before the terror effect turns nasty on us. But let's move over to Mark. We've got clues. We've got Mandy's researcher ability. Hopefully we can... And we've got the yellow die if we need it later on in the adventure. But I might as well just use it... no. We're not going to use it yet. I'm basically going to have to rely on luck, it looks like, for this one, along with a little bit of mitigation. That's a cocked die. Well, it landed that way. I'm just going to use the peril from that. Now I need 2 terror, and I need to be able to clear this basically right now, because if I don't, I just fail the adventure. We're going to use a clue to reroll everything. There's 1 terror, which I'll use the other clue to reroll everything else. There we go. The 2 terror will clear the adventure, which will give Mark one of his clues back. A spell, so Mark will find. 3rd eye. Discard after you roll to change any number of results to lore results. That would have been handy. Yeah, that would have been handy for the Abyss, actually, but alas, he doesn't get that. So that was he got his clue, his spell, his unique item. Mark will find. A Stygian eye. After any investigator rolls dice, discard this card and lose 2 sanity to change a die to a result of your choice. We can't trade items in this game, but there's a Mythos card that lets us. We need to find that card pronto. He gets that as a trophy value of 1. We'll draw for the monster once we spawn the new adventure, but the flavor text... The ancient stone had weighed tons, and yet something had shattered it against the opposite wall of the gallery. Yeah, that's not something I want to come across in a dark alley. But we need a new adventure, so the new... Actually, let me move the dice tower out of the way first. Our new adventure The door is ajar. Trophy value of 2. Peril, 2 research, then 7. Clearing it gets you an Otherworld, an Elder Sign, and a monster. Failing loses you a sanity. We probably need to go there, but we're going to draw for a monster. Oh boy, this is not good, because that's a midnight effect. What is that? That's a Sand Dweller. 2 terror to clear it, and at midnight, each investigator on this adventure discards an ally. I'm going to put that on Vermin in the Pipes, because I don't think we're ever going there again. That's on that adventure. 9 o'clock to Vincent, and I think he, to its highest investigation result, I think we're going to bring him right down here. I think we're going to bring him right down to, yeah, we're going to bring him down to the door is ajar. And we'll bring the dice tower right back in shot. Unfortunately, he doesn't get the white die, but he can manipulate dice, and we're probably going to need that ability. He's got 3 clues, and he's got the research materials. Okay, we can take the peril, and we'll re-roll all of this. Oh wow, 3, 6, 7. And then we just need 2 research. And we've got plenty of ways to get it. Which I think rather than get cute, I'm going to discard the research materials. Just change one of these dice to a 3 and put it over top of the 2. Which means we will clear it. So that'll give us... I'll move that out of the way. That will give us our 5th Elder Sign of 12. Or 13 that we need. I'll draw for the monster last, but we're also going to need an Otherworld adventure and a replacement adventure, but we'll take a look at the flavor text on this one first. I cannot say where the door led, but I know that was a place that could not exist. So that's a trophy value of 4. First we'll draw a replacement adventure Vincent will find. The Hedge Maze, uh-oh. This is a problem. Trophy value of 2, and at midnight each investigator loses 1 stamina. It is a very good thing we did not have this out when we were drawing 3 Mythos cards 2 rounds ago. 2 research, then a peril, then 2 peril. Clearing it gets you a monster, and a unique item, a common item, and an Elder Sign. Failing loses you a sanity. I'll move the dice out of the way. Actually, we'll move Vincent back up to the entrance. And then we need an Otherworld adventure. So our Otherworld here is Another Time. Trophy value of 2. 2 lore and advance time by 1. 3 research, then advance time by 1 again, by 3 hours. Clearing it gets you 2 Elder Signs and 2 clues. Failing loses a health and advances time by 1. So that's not great. Alright, then we need a monster for that. We have no place that we can put it. Actually, we're going to need 2 monsters. One for the resolution on the doors ajar, and then one as we get ready to move back up top for the Mythos phase. Let's draw the monster first for the adventure. Go nice and deep and pull one of these out. Oh, wonderful. This is a task, I think. Alright, it's 2 lore, but it's going to lock the red die. Walking the ley lines. You may fulfill this mission to gain 1 Elder Sign. Fulfilling this mission is discarding 5 trophies. We'll put that... Oh, gross. We're going to put that on under construction and basically probably never use the red die again this game. Well, actually, Mark could go get it potentially if we wanted to, but we also need to draw for the midnight for the monster. That's Amigo. We'll return to this marker to the cup and gain one unique item. Task is 2 research and either a lore or a peril. We'll put that on balancing mind and body. Each investigator will lose a stamina because we have the hedge maze out. I'll take care of that. Vincent can get a 3. Mandy will lose 1, and there's Vincent. With that done, let's move back up top for the Mythos phase. We also had the Sand Dweller's Midnight effect, but I dealt with that already. Anyway, we didn't have anybody on that adventure to deal with it. So our next Mythos card. Time slips away. Oh, come on! Add 1 Doom token to the Doom track. Then resolve all Midnight effects again and draw a new Mythos card. Oh, that's delightful. So we add a Doom token to the Doom track. We're going to put another monster out. Oh, wonderful. And we have to put this... Oh, great. As if our problems couldn't get even worse. Oh, good grief. What is this, a ghost? Which will lock the yellow die and require 4 research and lose a sanity. I'll put that on the hedge... Okay, folks, I'm really starting to see the writing on the wall on this one. Let's put that on another time, I guess. But we have to resolve all Midnights again. The Sand Dweller doesn't do anything. The Hedge Maze takes another stamina away, which means Jacqueline and Vincent are both 1 from dead, which is going to be a huge problem for us right now. And then we draw another Mythos card. Strange Sights. A monster appears amid the stillness. There's no lingering effects today. Well, this one has to go on Hedge Maze now. We're dropping monsters again. This time we've got a flying polyp with a trophy value of 3. 2 research, -1 of each. That needs to go on the Hedge Maze. So that should have been midnight, which I forgot to advance the clock for that. But fortunately there are no lingering effects today, but our investigators are very... To put it mildly, our investigators are in a bad way, and our board, yeah, the less said about the board right now, the better. So we've got, I would say we've got 20 different fires that we need to put out right now. So, well, I think our biggest order of business, actually that yellow die is locked from the ghost. What is our biggest order of business right now? I'm looking at the board with Mandy right now, and it's like, where do I even start at this point? Well, the Hedge Maze is going to kill at least 2 of my investigators if I don't at least make an effort to clear that. And if that goes off again, I may just tap out and call it a game at that point. But yeah, I'm just kind of surveying the board and looking at the disaster on our hands right now. Yeah, clearing the polyp, if nothing else, is not just going to kill Mandy outright. So, I guess that's where we start. Let's bring her down. Actually, we'll flip everybody back over. But yeah, let's send Mandy down to the hedge maze, and we'll go ahead and clear that, and we'll see about clearing at least the polyp out. Mark's going to discard the holy water to let Mandy become blessed as well. So that'll give her that die. Then we're going to discard winter gear because I'm almost 99% certain we're going to need the yellow die for this. Fortunately, we can get it if it's locked with the winter gear. I think the bigger priority here, it's like, which one's the, you look at an adventure like this and you're like, which one's even the bigger priority at this point? Clearing the polyp or getting rid of the adventure, because both of them suck. And ultimately it's going to put another monster out even if we clear it, so we're kind of just treading water on this one, but we need to get rid of that hedge maze. That thing is way too dangerous to let linger another turn. Okay, we can get rid of the 2 lore and the peril at least. We need the 2 peril though. I could take the 2 and lose 1 and 1. So I think I'll do that. So the polyp is at least going to get cleared, but we need the 2 peril. Oh, Mandy's blessed. I gave Mandy the white die, so I'm going to roll the white die. Actually, I'm just going to re-roll the whole thing. I forgot Mandy was blessed. So I'm going to move the 1 and 1 off from... I just blessed Mandy to make the adventure easier, and I forgot to give her the white die. So we're going to re-roll the whole thing. I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. Alright, well, we'll start off with the 2 and lose a sanity. Lose 1 and 1. So we're basically right back to where we're most of the way back to where we started from. Now that I'm remembering to give her all of her dice. Alright, then we'll take the 2 and the peril. And now we need 2 peril, and Mandy's got her researcher available to her. Which she will not need, thankfully. Which at least gets us rid of the hedge maze. As for the flavor text on the flying polyp, foolishly, I looked up to see the source of the noise. Yeah, bad idea, Mandy. But that will get her a unique item Mandy will draw. An enchanted arrow. After any investigator rolls dice, discard to defeat 1 monster. If it has a lore requirement, draw a spell. Ooh, that could be tempting. We got a common item as well, so she will draw. Bandages. Discard on your turn to choose any investigator to regain 1 and 1. That will get us our 5th Elder Sign. Our 6th Elder Sign, actually. We're just about halfway home. The problem is Hastur is more than halfway home. But we get a monster. Before we get that, we get the flavor text on Hedge Maze. I have walked this maze dozens of times. I could find my way blindfolded. How could I possibly have gotten so lost? More importantly, the terror effect is finally gone. So I'll bring Mandy back to the entrance. We need a replacement adventure we will find. Transported by magic. Uh-oh. Need 6 research and 2 lore. Gain 2 spells and another world adventure for clearing it. Advance doom by 1 and lose a sanity if you fail. And at midnight, for each otherworld card in play, add 1 Doom token to the Doom track. Last order of business is we need a monster and it has to go there. We find, what is that? Takes a terror, a peril, and lose 1 health. Sacrifices to make it's a task. You must fulfill this mission to remove 2 Doom tokens from the Doom track. That could be tempting, but we're going to be 3 o'clock. Come on. Once it decides to focus, we're 3 o'clock to Jacqueline, and I'll meet you guys back up top once I change my battery. Jacqueline really isn't doing much right now, and I'm looking at the board, thinking there's really no place she can contribute right now. I think Vincent's going to heal her for 1 stamina, and then we're going to bring her down to a natural... that unnatural habitat's going to kill her if she gets the terror effect twice. I don't think there are any great places to send her right now. I guess I will send her down. She'll probably have to take 1 for the team at this point. But let's move down to Jacqueline. I'm going to call a spade here, folks. We're in a terrible situation. If Jacqueline gets killed right here, gets devoured, we're going to be putting at least another Doom up on the Doom track, and that's before we get into her epitaph. But let's see what happens here. We maybe can at least take the cultist with us. Okay, we can take... Actually, we can take the 2 peril. And I saw 3 research in there. Good thing I was paying attention. Then we need either the peril or the terror. Or the peril or the lore. There we go. So Jacqueline actually manages to survive that. Which we can get that out of the way. We'll get the cultist. Trophy value of 1. He ran toward me, shouting in a long-dead language. And then the unnatural habitat's a trophy value of 1. We'll take a look at this. I cannot abide these stuffed beasts. Stand too close and their claws catch me. Watch them too keenly and their glass eyes follow me. That's a trophy value of 1, which brings Jacqueline up to 6. That will bring us there. Jacqueline gets a spell from that. So she will find Astral Travel, which lets her secure a die. Replacement adventure for that. The guided tour for 1 trophy, and it's an ordered task. 2 research, then 4, then a lore. Clearing it gets you 2 clues and a common item. Failing loses you 1 and 1. Jacqueline's clock phase brings us to 6 o'clock once it decides to focus. To Mark, and Mark's turn. Where is Mark going? Well, I think... I think his option right now, I think the thing we have to do right now is I think we send him down to Transported by Magic. Because I don't want to start putting up a lot of Doom for the... I don't want to start putting Doom up for the other world cards. We're going to be getting Doom as it is, but I think we're going to need to go for those Haymakers against Hastur. So that card's gone. Anyway, let's move down to Mark. Hopefully the blessing is what's going to carry Mark. He's also got a clue and the 3rd eye he can use. We may end up using the 3rd eye to get the 2 lore that we need. But let's see what happens with this roll. Let's see, we've got the... I don't want to use 3 dice for the 6 research. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to use the clue I'll keep the terror. The reason I'm keeping the terror here is because I can always use the third eye to get the lore I need. I'd rather have options when it comes to getting the 6 clues. It's probably easier to get the 6 clues, but I really want to make sure this mission gets completed first. This mission task gets completed. Okay, that's a little better. So I can use the peril and the terror. I'll lose a health as well, which will also bring Mark to being 1 from dead. But I kind of knew that going in. That was going to be just... That was just the risk I was taking here going in. Okay, so that one's done. Now we roll again. I'm trying to get this... I primarily want to get the 6 trophies out of this. As long as I get them here, I will clear this adventure because I can then use third eye to get the lore I need. Well, that'll work perfectly. 3, 6. And then just for formality's sake, even though I've got the third eye, I've got another task that's going to take a lot of lore, and I'd like to save it for that if I can, but I'll use it here if I have to. I'm actually going to discard a die, and we'll go for one more roll. Now we'll use the third eye to change both of those to lore results and clear the adventure, which will give him 2 spells, which are these guys. So first up for Mark is the red sign of Should a Mill, which lets him secure a die, and his other spell Scrying. Discard at the start of your turn to look at the top 4 cards of the Mythos deck. Place 1 at the bottom and return the rest to the top of the deck in any order. We could have used that to bury some of those effects that forced us to draw multiple cards. But we can get that all out of the way. That becomes a trophy value, or that becomes a mission that we can fill with a trophy value of 5, which we have now, and we could just toss it to remove 2 Doom tokens. That's actually tempting right now. But the flavor text here. My skin glowed white hot until I had to close my eyes. The floor disappeared under my feet and I seemed to fall forever. We get a replacement adventure for that, but we'll also get an Otherworld adventure, so we will find Seeking Leads to trophy value of 2. Ordered task. 1 research, then a peril and a lore. Clearing it gets you a spell and a clue. Failing loses you 2 health. Mark will move back to the entrance. Then I think he will spend his trophies, and Sacrifices to Make goes away to remove 2 Doom tokens from the track. So that'll bring Hastur down to 4, which should buy us a bit of time. But now, we need an Otherworld. I'll get that once I finish. So we're 9 o'clock to Vincent, but we also get an Otherworld adventure. So we get another dimension, trophy value of 2, lore, 1 lore and a research, but a monster can go there. Then terror and peril. Okay, so we're 9 o'clock to Vincent. The question is, do we need to bite the bullet and go for some of these elder signs? And I think the answer is probably... and I don't know... Actually, now that we've got some slack on the Doom track to play with, I think we do want to go for an elder sign. Well, we've got an opportunity to get one. So, well, Vincent's only 1 from... Vincent's one stamina from dead. So, do we risk another turn and heal? I don't like it, but I think we do have to pass another turn to try to heal. So he's going to discard one of his 2 trophy cards to heal to full stamina, staying at the entrance. Then that will flip his card over. And Midnight will bring us back up top for the Mythos phase. We had no lingering effect, so our Mythos card this turn. Strange Sights. A monster appears. Oh joy, and it's got to go, it can go either over top of Seeking Leads or another dimension. I'll put it over top of Seeking Leads because I see what the penalty is. The yellow die is double locked. We need 2 terror. This is Purifying the World. You may fulfill this mission to discard a Mythos card as it's drawn without resolving it. So that goes there. And Suffering. All adventure cards with at least 1 Elder Sign reward have 1 less Elder Sign reward today. Oh, that's unfortunate. Might be a good turn to try to heal, though, before we start trying to take a bite out of these otherworld adventures. Especially for Mark trying to heal his stamina up a bit. So I suspect this is going to be a quick round. Mandy, I think, will pass the turn in the entrance to heal. Oh wait, okay, so she'll pay 5 trophies. So she'll pay her Flying Polyp and her Hedge Maze to regain both and go back up to full strength. It's unfortunately, she doesn't get change back, so that's unfortunate, but that's a thing that has to happen for Mandy so she can not be so banged up. 3 o'clock to Jacqueline will... She'll discard... The Cultist... Actually, no. Vincent's going to discard the Cloud Memory to restore Jacqueline's sanity. Actually, I think he has to do that on his turn. I'm going to rule that he has to do that on his turn, which he probably will anyway. Although, actually, I take that back. Jacqueline's going to discard the Nafke and the Cultist to heal to full sanity, paying 2 trophies for that. We need the Elder Sign, so I want to take a bite out of those when the reward's not being imperiled. 6 o'clock to Mark, who's going to spend his suitcase of cash to heal himself up to full stamina. 9 o'clock to Vincent. Is he the only one that's going to take a roll this turn? Actually, he could take a roll. Question is, do I want to send him down to another time to try that? No, I don't want to do any adventures with Elder Sign rewards this turn because I get 1 less, and I need all the Elder Signs I can find. So I think we'll just send him down to the guided tour to try to stock up on items a little bit. With that, let's move down to Vincent. Before Vincent moved, we'll pretend he healed Jacqueline back to full strength since he didn't use his physician yet this turn. We'll bring the Dice Tower and Shot. And then we'll give out the guided tour. So first we need 2 research. Which, we have to use 2 dice, but I think we've got to take it. We can't be picky at this point. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to use a clue to reroll. He's got 3 of them. I'm going to see if I can get a better research result. I don't want to... If possible, I don't want to use 2 dice because I already need 2 dice for the second task on this ordered task. Well, let's put the last one in the tower, but I like what I see. I'll use the 2 there. That way I have my full dice allotment going into the next ordered task. Alright, there's the 2 and the 3. That'll give me a total of 5, but it needs to be at least 4, and the lore. Discard a 3, reroll these. Discard that and reroll. Actually, yeah. Actually, before we do that, we'll spend a clue to reroll. Spend our other clue and reroll again. Discard and reroll. And no lore. Vincent will lose 1 and 1. That will unfortunately bring us to midnight, and it will also bring us back up top for the Mythos phase. We are still very much in trouble today, so at least the Elder Sign hindrance goes away. Let's see what we find here. Oh, Mandy had her researcher that I forgot all about. The stars align. Add 1 Doom token to the Doom track. Amid the stillness, there's no lingering effect today. One Doom there, which thankfully has a Do Nothing Doom, which will bring us into a new round. I'll flip everybody back over. Heading into a new midnight. I think Mandy's going to move down. I think we got to start taking a bite out of some of these Elder Signs, even if we're putting Doom back up on Hastur. We're going to bring her down to another time, and let's take a look at what Mandy's doing. Even if a successful completion is going to put Doom back up, we need to start taking a bite out of some of these Elder Signs. So let's see what we can do here. Okay, that is a... Actually, I'm going to use the Enchanted Arrow to just defeat the ghost, because I'd rather go into this adventure basically unimpaired. So that yellow die is going to move over to the task, and then I can use the 3 to defeat the first part of the task, which will advance time to 3 o'clock. Then we need the 2 lore, and we'll have to advance time again. I do have Researcher available, so I'll get to reroll 2 dice. We'll discard the 2, and I'll focus the lore on Mandy. So now we need to get 1 more lore and 4 rolls. Which, once again, I'm dropping dice. We'll put that through the tower. But we can use the lore here, and the lore we focused on Mandy. Advance the clock to 6 o'clock, and that completes the task. Which will give Mandy 2 clues and 2 Elder Signs, plus a Doom on Hastur. So 2 Elder Signs brings us up to 8 on Hastur. We'll get her 2 clues out. That puts a Doom back on Hastur because we successfully completed the adventure, which means we have to draw another monster out. And now that has to go over another dimension. But let's look at the flavor text here. I recognize neither my companion's dress nor their speech. The stars were familiar, but somehow not right. That'll go over to Mandy as a trophy value of 2, and she gets the ghost as well. The room grew cold suddenly, and I knew that another presence was there with me. So that brings Mandy up to 3, but we need to put a monster over another dimension. Oh joy, we've got an Elder thing, which is a 7 research, 1 lore, and advanced time by 1. All for a trophy value of 1? Yeah, right. Anyway, our round is about to be all out of whack, because clock phase is 9 o'clock to Jacqueline. Now, where's Jacqueline going? Do we have anywhere that I like right now? Not particularly. Let's move back up top to look at the board again. But yeah, looking at this board right now, I don't know if we have anywhere that I could really send Jacqueline right now that would help. I could send her to Seeking Leads. That wouldn't kill her. And try to get the yellow die cleared, because I'm sure we're going to need that on some of our other adventures. Especially if we want to try to come down to another dimension and get that Elder sign. So I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to send Jacqueline over to Seeking Leads. And I'm going to consider the clearing of the mission to be a win, but let's move down to Jacqueline and see what we can do with that. Like I said, I mostly want to clear the monster task off of there so I can get the yellow die clear. For that, we need 2 terror, so let's see what happens here. I just roll it naturally. That works. Next, we need a peril. Which I'll discard the 3, but I'll focus the lore because I can use that elsewhere. Or secure the... Actually, no. Let's focus the lore. Is it better to focus it or secure it? We need a lot of lore coming up. I'm actually going to secure it. So now we need to get both of these dice... Both of our rolls need to have at least 1 skull and 1 peril in them. Which that one does not, so we're not going to be able to complete the adventure. Jacqueline will fail it, which will cost her 2 sanity, but we needed to get that yellow die clear. And now Jacqueline gains the mission, which means she can pay 5 trophies to discard a Mythos card as it's drawn without resolving it. So that's something. Unfortunately, midnight will bring us back up top for the Mythos phase. We unfortunately didn't gain much of anything in trying to... I don't feel like we really made any headway in trying to deal with Hastur with the extra 2 doom that we picked up. So, looking at our card from the deck, too high a price. Either add 1 doom token to the doom track, or 1 investigator with 4 or more stamina must lose 3. Mark can take that. He can lose 3. To bring forth horrors. The next time a clock strikes midnight, a monster appears. Oh joy. Alright, so that'll bring us down to midnight to Mark, and our round just got all screwed up. So, I think with the yellow die and being blessed, I think Mark is probably our best chance to clear out another dimension. Actually, he's going to need... he's going to need all the dice he can find for that one. So, yeah, let's move down to... Okay, the 2 stamina won't just kill him. Actually, at the start of his turn, let's discard Scrying so we can look at the top 4 of the Mythos deck. Put 1 on the bottom and the rest on top in any order. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoop. Come on. There we go. First card up. Rack. Each investigator loses 2 stamina or ruin. Each investigator loses 2 sanity. Is that something we could survive right now? Easily. Next up, the stars align. Add 1 Doom token to the Doom track for a Dark Fate. Lock the red die for today. The red die is already locked, so that'll just be double locked for 1 turn. Next up, Shadowy Entities. Add 1 Doom token to the Doom track unless there are 2 or fewer monsters in play, which that's not going to change. So there are way more than 2 monsters in play. And War. 4 monsters appear or Pestilence. Add 2 Doom tokens to the Doom track. Bye-bye, you're going to the bottom. In that case, I think we'll go Shadowy Entities first, then Rack or Ruin, and then the stars align. Add a Doom token to the Doom track to lock the red die again. So we'll put them in the reverse order, basically. And then Mark will come down to another dimension, and we'll see if we can take a bite out of another Elder Sign. Let's move down to Mark and see what we can do with that. The only way I'm not using the lore Jacqueline has locked to her astral travel is by a miracle. So, let's give this a roll and see what happens. Let's see, we're 1 short of being able to clear this whole row out. He's got clues. Oh, I did discard the lucky cigarette case to give him the yellow die. I forgot to mention that. I could use a clue to reroll and try to get that last clue. Which ones would I keep to reroll? Probably be those 4. And if I hold on to the terror, that gives me the option of potentially trying to clear this task, but I think I'd rather clear this one first. So I'm going to spend the clue to roll these 3 dice. I need this Elder thing gone way too much. Actually, I'm going to re-roll the... Oh, shoot, there was a lore in... Oh, no, we've got a lore in here. I'm just going to re-roll the white die as well, because I don't need the skull. I don't need the peril. Okay, well, that will give me enough research if I re-roll the yellow die instead, so I think I'll do that. Now I just need a second lore. Which I don't get. That's very unfortunate. So I'll discard this white die since it doesn't have a terror on it, and I'll focus the 3 on Mark. Actually, do I want to focus the 3 or do I want to focus the peril? No, I want to focus the 3 because I want to try to kill that Elder thing here. Bring the dice tower a little more in shot. Okay, that'll work. So there's the 3/3 lore 1 and the lore from astral travel, so that's gone for Jacqueline. At least the Elder thing is going away this turn, so that's something. Now we need to get a terror and a peril, and we've got 2 rolls added. We'll discard that. And I think we focused... No, we didn't focus. I'll focus the terror on Mark. He's got to get a peril here. Which he does not. That's very unfortunate. But he will get rid of the Elder thing at least. It'll also cost him his blessing, though. And that's a trophy value of 1. Now, that is disgusting. It was a being beyond comprehension, but the human corpse it held, that I understood. So Mark loses his blessing. He also loses his sanity and 2 stamina, which puts him 1 sanity from insane, which would give him a phobia at least. But that's unfortunate. We also had to advance time when we defeated the Elder Thing, so that goes to 3 o'clock. Then clock phase brings us to 6 o'clock to Vincent. Then what do I want to do with Vincent? Well, he's going to start by discarding Cloud Memory to heal Mark's sanity to full. Honestly, I feel like we're just running on the treadmill at this point. But I think we're going to bring... I keep forgetting about Mandy's researcher. I've got to remember that. Let's bring him down to another dimension and try to help Mark get out of here. I really want to get this Elder Sign is what it's coming down to. So let's see what happens here. Alright, there's the lore and the 3. Now let's see if we can get a terror and a peril. We've got 4 shots at it and 2 people to focus here. We'll discard that and we'll focus the... No, we don't need the lore. That was total garbage. Are you kidding me? Wow. Vincent loses a sanity and 2 health as well. I could use Summon Guardian Spirit here, but I'm not going to, I don't think. Clock phase will bring us to 9 o'clock to Mandy, who... Flip all of that over. And when that monster appears, it can either go over top of Seeking Leads or another dimension. Mandy. What do we do with Mandy? I guess we'll bring her down to the archives and try to get some unique items. Let's move up to Mandy. Let's see if we can get Mandy a little firepower here. Well, I can take the... I'll take the skull and the peril and the lore. I figure I can get the other stuff easily enough. Alright, there's the 1 research to take out the monster. Now we need a lore and 3 research. Which that is not, so we'll discard the white die. Wow. Discard the terror. And fail the adventure because we can't clear. Actually, roll 2 dice. I've got researcher, I've got to remember that. Nope, can't clear it. So Mandy fails that, loses a sanity. But we at least get the monster off of here, which is going to turn into another lore. Which is going to turn the task into another lore. This was the rat thing. Return this marker to the cup, then discard 1 item of your choice. Oh, that's gross. So we're losing the bandages and the blessing. Oh, wonderful. Alright, the clock phase will bring us to midnight, and that will bring us back up top for the mythos phase. Why is it that Elder Sign is the one game where the investigators can't get out of their own way, especially during the summer of Lovecraft or Christmas in Arkham? Maybe it's just my relationship with dice, but who knows. Anyway, let's see what our investigators or what the monster is that's coming out. It's either a ghoul or a zombie. It takes a lore and a terror, or lore or a terror, or peril or a terror. It's an ethical occultist, actually, and at midnight, add a doom token to the doom track. I'm going to put him over top of another dimension with the plan that I'm going to take him, that I'm going to probably have Mark and or Vincent stay put and take him out next turn. But we need a card from the Mythos deck. I think I remember what this is. Add 1 doom token to the doom track unless there are 2 or fewer monsters in play. We're down to 4. Amid the stillness, no lingering effects for today. Okay, so that's something at least. Midnight will bring us back down to Jacqueline. And where do I want to send Jacqueline right now? She's 1 health from being dead. I gotta get her out of seeking leads. The terror on under construction would kill her if she fails. Do I just move her back to the entrance and heal her for 1 stamina for free? I don't like it, but I think that's what I do. So Jacqueline will move back to the entrance and heal a stamina for free. The problem is, we can't afford to take off a turn here, but we also can't afford to have one of our investigators just bite the dust on us. But that will do it for Jacqueline. Clock phase will bring us to 3 o'clock to Mark, and he's staying put in another dimension. We've got to get rid of this Ithic Occultist right now. So with that, let's move down to another dimension and Mark. Losing the blessing last turn really hurt, but we've got to get rid of this Ithic Occultist now, because if he starts putting a lot of Duma up, we're going to be facing a lot of problems. Which a lore and a peril will do that. Unfortunately, we're putting up a doom token, assuming we clear this adventure. Are we starting this again, Mark? Let's use Researcher first. Since Mandy... It's a new day, so Mandy's going to use Researcher to see if Mark can complete something. We're right back where we started from. Delightful. We'll focus the terror on Mark and see if we can get a peril. We cannot, and Mark, actually I wasn't paying attention, but Mark just got devoured. He got defeated by Sanity, which means we'll get an Epitaph card for Mark, as if our problems couldn't get bad enough, we find. Unforgettable. We carried the memory of our friend in our hearts and told old stories to our new friends. Each surviving investigator may discard 1 common item to gain an ally. Nobody even has a common item, so never mind that. But Mark is out of the game now. We will put a Doom token up on Hastur's track. And actually, the Ithic Occultist goes back in the bag. We don't even get it as a trophy. Doom token on Hastur's track. Let's see where this goes. We could put it over Seeking Leads. I believe that's a Warlock, with a double lock on the red die, and 2 tasks taking either Terror or Peril. Yep, that is a Warlock. Return this marker to the cup and gain 2 clue tokens. We'll put that over Seeking Leads. Then 6 o'clock to Vincent. Okay, Mark is dead. which means the Elder thing goes back to the bag. These all get discarded. And I'm kind of... I hate to do it, I hate to tap out again, but I'm honestly starting to reach that point where I'm seeing the writing on the wall here. The way my dice are rolling, I'm not doing very well right now. And I have to replace an investigator already. I think we might as well keep him here, just in case. We might as well have Vincent try to clear this out again. But honestly, our problem right now is we're just... Actually, no, I can't keep him here, because two stamina would kill him. The problem is, pretty much everywhere else we go, we're looking at a near impossible task. So here's... I think almost everything else has penalties that would just... Actually, if we Sawbones and have him heal himself for 1, we could keep him here. Which I think we almost have to. But like I said, I'm looking at the writing on the wall here. So that actually should be a 3 for Vincent's... No, he's at 2. So yeah, Vincent is going to stay here and try to clear this adventure out before another monster comes and spawns over top of it. I'm going to play this to another midnight, which is coming up soon, and I'll see where I'm at. Because I'm already having to replace 1 investigator. Honestly, the way things are going, I might be better off just trying to just cleaning up and calling it a video, but let's see. There's the Terror and the Peril. The Lore and the 1. So we finally... So it killed Mark, but we finally cleared it, which means Vincent gets a spell he will find. Inner Beast. Discard after you roll to change any number of results to peril results. That could be helpful in getting rid of the Warlock at seeking leads. We also get a common item Vincent finds. Dynamite to give him the red die, which is very much locked. And we get our 9th Elder sign. And this goes to Vincent with a trophy value of 2. There are many places, many shades of things that are undreamt of by men. That'll bring Vincent to a trophy value of 4. And that'll bring us to 9 o'clock to Mandy. What is she doing? Is she even contributing much to speak of right now, to be honest? Not really. I think seeking leads is probably going to be Vincent detail. Yikes. I think we're going to bring her down to guided tour, actually. We'll see if we can have any better luck here. We'll tip the camera up just slightly, move the dice tower, and we can get into her turn here. All right, we need the 2 research first, which we get. Now we need 4. Which we get Bubkiss for that. I'll discard the Peril and focus the Lore. I probably could have focused the 3 there, but I figure I have an easier time rolling 4 research than I will rolling the Lore again. Although the way I'm rolling, it might be a miracle if I do. So of course, I managed to roll the Lord for days. Mandy loses 1 and 1. And then that'll bring us to midnight, which will bring us back up top for the Mythos phase. If I remember right, this should be either the investigators lose 2 stamina or 2 sanity. Yep. I think we'll have everybody lose... 2 stamina would just kill Jacqueline outright. So I think we'll have everybody lose 2 sanity. But I think what's going to end up happening here is I'm also going to need to bring somebody new in. And I kind of want to get this video up and make another video today if possible. And looking at our board right now, I think as much as I don't want to do this, I am going to tap out and just take the loss on Christmas and Arkham, because the problem is, the way we're rolling today, I don't think we're turning this around. Because we have to bring somebody new in already. And we're just, basically our team is just pretty much out of everything right now. We're not really making any headway against Hastur. I mean, we're up to 9 Elder Signs, but the way we're rolling and looking at our board, it's probably going to take me another 3 hours just to get this cleared out, and I don't trust my dice rolling today. So that's where we're going to call it for this video of Elder Sign. This should go up yet this afternoon, and I'm hoping later tonight to finish that 3-game set of Payoff Pitch Baseball. We'll have the rubber match between the Diamondbacks and the Red Sox from 2001 at Fenway Park. Tomorrow we're going to be debuting another new war game on the channel as we play Defending America, intercepting the America Bombers from Compass Games. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.